if you look at, some of you are probably too young, uh, and but I certainly lived through this, and I think Arvind also was. Arvind, how old were you in the year 2000?
You're putting me on the spot, Manish.
Yeah, how old were you in the year 2000?
I was in college.
All right, in college. So we had got like a 8-year range or something, 6-year range. Today's age, okay. So Arvind very much remembers the .com bubble, and I think many of you in in the room, if you're in your mid 20s or so on, so this would have been what, about when you were about 10 years old or something. Maybe some of you were teenagers then. Um, but anyway, so I was actually an investor then, and lived through this as well. So we had the .com bubble, and again, the investor expectations were that the internet was a game changer. It was a massive disruptor, and they were right. It has improved our lives big time, and the economy would get reconfigured. And they were absolutely right. We are still going through that reconfiguration, and it's very significant reconfiguration. But nearly all 1999 investors in .coms lost their entire investment. It didn't go so well. And if you look at some of the names, like Boo.com, they spent 188 million in the first 6 months. Cosmo, which is no relation to Kramer, was trying to do 1 hour deliveries, and so on. We had a long list of companies that basically went under. And here's a list of some of these companies which were bought. And so if you look at, for example, something like Broadcast.com, which was sold by Mark Cuban uh, to Yahoo for 5.7 billion. And Cuban was pretty smart. What he did is, when Yahoo gave him Chinese money, also known as Yahoo stock, for Broadcast.com, he negotiated and hedged the entire position. And so after that, when Yahoo stock crashed and burned, Cuban was mostly unaffected, and hence we see him on Shark Tank now. And and actually, if you look at Mark Cuban's present net worth, I was just looking at it in the Forbes 400 recently. It's actually less than 5.7 billion. If I remember, it's like 2 or 3 billion now. So from that time till now, he's done all these different things, bought the NBA team, made a bunch of other investments, and so on. But his net worth uh, really hasn't done much. I think the single best decision he made was to hedge that Yahoo stock, and everything else is wonderful. And then you even see IAC Interactive buying Ask.com for 1.9 billion, and you look at some of these other deals that Yahoo has done. GeoCities for 3.6 billion, and you look at the state of Yahoo today and all the talk about now selling the company. And so this uh, there was a lot of euphoria at the time. And in fact, in the year 2000, in January, I was on the HBS campus, and I used to come to the Harvard Business School every year for a week as part of this executive ed program, where we do kind of like a week of MBA school uh, through YPO. And there were about 160 of us every year for a week, and the average person ran a $400 million company. And I did this 13 years, from 1999 till last year. And one evening we would hang out with the MBA students. So there would be 8 YPOers and 8 Harvard MBA students, and we'd go out for dinner. And basically we'd sit, YPO or MBA, YPO or MBA. So on both sides of me, for example, were 2 MBA students. And I remember in that year, in January 2000, the bubble was fully on. I mean, it was just full on at that time. It popped in March, and all these kids basically were had mostly already formed companies. Some were dropping out of HBS. They didn't want to wait to complete their degrees. They were getting venture funding. Some of these companies coming out of the HBS campus had, I would say, pre-money or post-money valuations, which were in the hundreds of millions. And so these guys were um, on top of the world, if you will. And that year, when they went to dinner with us, the body language was that they really felt like they were wasting their time with a bunch of these old guys who just didn't get it about the internet, didn't get it about the way the world was being reconfigured and all of this. And they were all talking about that, in 2 years they were all going to be billionaires. And then, a couple of years later, again on the HBS campus, again going to dinner with the MBAs, and the economy is in a kind of recession and so on, and the I would say the body language very different. They were giving business cards. They were asking if they could get internships, and so on and so forth. So the life and times changed pretty fast, and what you had going on was that like there was a chemical um, Chemdex was formed then, which was like supposed to be like this uh, marketplace for industrial chemicals. And so there were all these other dexes being formed on HBS on the Harvard campus with like looking at other aspects of industrial materials. There was the metals exchange. There was all kinds of stuff going on, paper exchange, and so on and so forth. So there was, and if you just think about and then all the squatters trying to, which still goes on today, trying to get the name and sell it for a zillion dollars and so on. So fun times.